Dig it. Hey everybody, Jason Shadrick, Premier Guitar, and we are at the Abasi Guitars booth with Tosin and Frank Falbo and about 200 of our closest friends all gathered around to see your guys' new guitars. So first we pulled out the H-string here, Tosin. Tell me a little bit about this and kind of what was the idea behind, you know what, I'm gonna go out on my own and make my own line of guitars.
Yeah, okay. I've been an Ibanez artist for quite a long time, and anytime I wanted something outside of their domain, I'd have to solicit a custom guitar. And so because of that experience, I ended up with a lot of ergonomic extended range instruments, and I got pretty comfortable with designing guitars that I thought did what I needed them to do. And so Ibanez was gracious enough to let me design my own body shape, and we were in a prototyping phase for quite a while. But I think the size of the company and a few other priorities made it kind of hard to really arrive at my exact, perfect guitar. It's really a thing that I think makes sense with artist to luthier sort of relationship. So I had met Frank while working on the Fluence project and realized that beyond doing the P-rails and innovating the Fluence stuff, he was an amazing guitar builder. So we were actually going to do an extended range nylon string, like an 8-string classical guitar. And then one day it dawned on me, wait a minute, this design, this concept is mine. Frank's got a shop. He's one of the best luthiers I've worked with. We should just work together to produce not only this guitar, but 6 strings, 7 strings, headless, fan fret, fretted, you name it. Yeah.
So tell us specifically about this one you got in your hand here, the H-string.
This is the first guitar that Frank and I did together. We wanted to do something that featured natural woods because all the other prototypes I had were painted over. Yep. So this is a cedar body with a burled maple top, and we've got the Fishman Fluence pickups in there. And what's cool about it is Frank's glue joint. Actually, it's a deep set neck. It's glued in there, and I think for this body shape, it's really an elegant sort of way to merge the neck and the body. Tons of tone. Is a Wenge 2-piece neck, which is really cool. So it's not like a hyper laminated thing. He's got this really cool way of doing the neck, and it's a Macquarie fretboard, and we've got a 25.5 to 27-inch scale length. So if you're used to your bends, if you're used to that tension and that sort of muscle memory, the scale length is retained there from a 6-string. Yeah. And then you get enough scale length in the low end to have a strong fundamental.
Right on.
Yeah, so. And it's comfortable. It's a very, we use the 8th fret as a vertical fret, so that really minimizes how extreme the actual fanning is. So you get the benefit of multi-scale without being
Feeling like your hands angry.
Yeah. If anything, the degree in which it does splay is actually pretty complementary to the way the hand travels naturally. So
over here we got Frank. So Frank, tell me a little bit from a luthier's perspective, what were kind of some of the challenges and obstacles you overcame when working with a design like this?
Well, I mean, when you meet a guy like Tosin, obviously he's a very forward-thinking guitarist. That is a huge joy for someone like myself who likes to kind of push the envelope and solve problems and look at things differently maybe than some other people have looked at them. So, I mean, the first thing we did, like Tosin said, we kind of tackled that whole neck joint issue. How does the neck meet the body? To be able to produce some of the sounds and responsiveness that he even liked about a bolt-on neck, but then produce it with the access and the sustain of a set neck. So it's kind of a hybrid in that regard, just with the way that but the two things meet together. But his aesthetic, I mean, his eye for detail and design is so rewarding. Just whether it's the arc of a certain bevel or when a piece of wood will intersect with another piece of wood, how thick this thing to be. His original design of the satin finish top with the buffed out bevels where those are high gloss looks amazing. And so, those can present challenges for people, but I mean, I looked at it and I was like, all right, okay, I know how to do it, and so we just did it.
Excellent. So we have the H-string here, but we also have, let's hold this up here.
You want to swap out?
Yeah, let's swap it out. All right, so we swapped it out, Tosin. Now we have the 6-string. So tell us a little bit about, obviously not everybody's an 8-string player, but might like the vibe and look and feel of your guitars. So tell us about this one.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own number of strings that they prefer. One thing we wanted to make people know is that we're down to do. We want to do 6, 7, and 8. We want to do headless. So that design is expanded to a full product line.
Yep.
So this is the first 6-string that we've done. We actually had to kind of compensate the body a little bit. It's a bit smaller than the 8-string, and I think we really nailed it. This one has a mini Floyd in it. It has my signature Fluent set, but in the 6-string version, and it's a poplar body with roasted flame maple neck and roasted flame maple fretboard, and this cool trans white pearlescent sort of finish. But yeah, it's super lightweight and thin, and it feels great. It's got tons of tone. So yeah, we're just excited to expand this design for people who have always been interested in, but maybe they weren't interested in the 8-string version or whatever the case is.
Right on. Cool. And the third one we have over here, let's swap this out, is the fretted fretless bass.
I think Frank can got some things to say.
All right, Frank, tell us about this bass here.
All right. Well, I mean, we started getting requests almost immediately as soon as anybody figured out what we were doing. Like, when are you gonna make a bass? You gonna make a bass? So, truth be told, this body design does scale up to a bass. It's not a direct, scale. We didn't just blow up the body. Everything's been compensated to fit and to work right and to be ergonomic with the bass. But it also was a chance for me to put in there something I showed Tosin, and he just kind of freaked out. It's a design that merges fretted and fretless bass together onto one neck, and there's 2 issues that you have to overcome. So the first thing is that the fretless fingerboard area is raised up to meet the same height of the fret tops. So you play, your playing surface is the same when you transition from one string to the next. But then the second sort of aha moment is that I've shifted the nut forward a bit and I've shifted the saddles forward a bit, so that now the place that you would normally have played on the fretted side of the fingerboard is the correct place for intonation to occur on the fretless side of the fingerboard. So if you need a gateway drug to go from fretless to fretted, then this is your piece, because you can just switch midstream, but you don't have to think about it. If you don't do anything differently, you're gonna probably be in tune. Yeah. So, and this particular one has Tosin's signature pickups in it because they're so full frequency that they actually function well and properly for the bass. Yeah.
Well, let's switch back to the 8 real quick, and we can wrap this up. So we know it's early days, but what's like a guide? Do you guys have any information on pricing or availability?
Yeah. So the 6-string will start at $29.95, but then the 8-string fan fret is $32.95. So there's a very tight window between the 6 and the 7 and the 8. It's not a big difference between all of those. Then you have the options. So you get to something like a burled top or matching figured wood headstock with recessed tuners, and then so it can go up from there. But like Tosin said, we've got your back if you have some other ideas of wood combinations and things like that.
It's obvious you guys aren't afraid to try stuff and throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I might have a little advice for somebody here and there, but some gentle paternal advice and some choices they were making, but no.
Frank has been building acoustic and semi-acoustic hollow body guitars for years, and I think that approach to lutherie is demands a lot of knowledge. So when it comes to throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks, it's like he's been doing that for quite a while, and I've been doing it too. So this is really like a passion project to fulfill this niche of building guitars for people who aren't finding what they want anywhere else specifically. Yeah.
So of course, where online can people go to find out more information about these that we saw and everything else you guys are doing?
I would say, your obvious socials, Abasi Guitars Instagram, or Abasi Guitars at Facebook.com, and there is Abasi Guitars USA.com.
Cool. All right, we're going to have you play us out here, Tosin, but thanks again, Frank. Thanks a lot. So this is Jason Shadrick from PremierGuitar.com.